This is the Say It Can't Gamer, and you are live with the MMA-Holes!
Mixed Martial A-Holes! MMA-Holes, 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 MMA-Holes. You like to be a mixed martial A-hole. MMA-Holes, 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 MMA-Holes.
No way.
From the Queen Studios of New York, UFC Brazil recap, UFC Australia Fight Week. Gastelum versus Whitaker. Artem Lobov won 7 figures. MMA news. Chris Machi from Triton Fights live with the MMA-Holes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, another MMA-Holes hour. This is not the MMA hour. This is the MMA-Holes hour. And we are wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful.
Jesse is... Wonderful. That's right. We have a swole, sexy show jam-packed with excitement and entertainment. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have someone special live on the MMA-Holes. Jesse, you excited?
I'm always excited.
We have Chris Machi. Chris, what's going on? Welcome back to the show.
Yo, what's going on, guys? My favorite podcast, MMA-Holes. What's going on?
There it is. Chris Machi, matchmaker, Triton Fights, and this is number 11. You've been here multiple times already. You're a seasoned veteran of MMA-Holes, and the 11th fight card is happening. This is exciting stuff. Give us a little synopsis of what we get to look forward to this Friday.
Yeah, so we've made some great leaps in the industry. We got picked up by Bleacher Report. That'll be our streaming service. It's going to be streamed live. That's multiple millions of people seeing our brand, seeing the MMA-Holes brand, and I can't be more excited to announce that and drop that first, on your podcast. That's an exclusive that we gave, the MMA-Holes, because you guys have stuck with us from ground up, and we're super excited for Friday night.
We've said this multiple times, right? Triton Fights is the best. The best on the East Coast. We haven't seen anything better. The production, the fights, everything's fantastic over there at Triton Fights. And the best has been released from UFC. Artem Lobov, he's looking for a place to fight. Will he fight in Triton?
Artem! The GOAT. How do you release the GOAT?
It's unbelievable. It's
crazy.
The greatest ever. How do they not pay this man whatever he wants?
I don't know, man.
It's ridiculous. Well,
ridiculousness. Speaking
of pro fights, now this is an all-AMI fight league, but there is a main event that's completely different this time around in Triton Fights. Tell us a little bit about your main event.
Well, so basically what we wanted to do is we wanted to show the fans that we are moving in the direction of pro MMA. We are headlining our amateur MMA card with Rick Schaefer versus Will Calhoun out of South Carolina, I believe. Rick Schaefer is a Long Island fight scene veteran. He's an undefeated pro kickboxer, basically a little pit bull. He's actually Ryan Jarina's striking coach, Jeremy Puglia's striking coach, which, as everyone knows, Jeremy, had an impressive Bellator debut. So we're super excited to move towards the realm of pro.
And there we go. And this is a step in the right direction over here. 2 badasses getting in the cage. Main event of the evening. Looking very much forward to this. How many championship fights do we have in this card? Do we have some championship fights, or what are we looking for there?
So we actually have no title fights on this card. This is the card that has a lot of newcomers, a lot of new faces, a lot of new talent. And we kind of replaced the title fights with these pro kickboxing main events. Our belts mean something in the MMA world, whether it be amateur or not. We protect the integrity of our belts. A lot of these promotions, they'll give anyone a belt. You got 0-0 fighters fighting for belts. You got 0-4 fighters fighting for belts. So we wanted to protect the integrity of our belt and not force a title fight if it didn't have to happen. So, there'll be no title fights, but there'll be pro kickboxing and a lot of great undercard fights. We have a lot of hungry new fighters.
I kind of like this. I'm gonna be honest with you. We've gone to many events, and they always crowbar a championship fight. Even if someone falls out of the fight, they have to just bring someone in there just to have that shiny belt in the cage. You are going the other route. Was it a tough decision not putting something crazy together to not have a championship fight on the card?
No, it wasn't, because this is what happens. And this is a little inside information to, because I get a lot of direct messages on Instagram and Facebook. How did I get involved in MMA? A, B, and C. And here's a trend in the MMA world that I'm seeing. People put on events and they will cut corners event after event after event. And then all of those corners add up and one event crashes. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a hard choice for me. It made sense. Protect the integrity of the belt. Maybe we sell less tickets, but really, I mean, this is on course to be the most sold out show we've ever done. Mm. So, that kind of proves to you too that people are appreciating the integrity of what Triton Fights belt means in the amateur realm, and that's what we wanted to do. Before, Triton Fights, it was amateur belts mean nothing, the record means nothing, and I guess for a portion that is true, but as long as we protect the integrity of our belt, I think that people are going to want to fight for it, and when they get it, they're going to cherish it more, and they're going to know that they really fought and they really earned that belt.
Triton Fights 11 is this Friday, the 8th of this month, and it's at the Space at Westbury. I look over at your Instagram, and I see that there is a Louis Razori versus some sort of devil Eric Olson. What is this? You have a devil fighting? What's going on here?
So I have the spawn of Satan fighting the Peruvian pit bull.
Oh my God!
So actually, no. Eric has a bad rap. He's been to my house before, sat on my couch. He's actually a good guy, but his game is to sell the fights, and and you got to respect that. He's all about the entertainment. He doesn't really like people, but it is what it is. He's a fighter. He's actually a well-known bare knuckle boxer from England. He also does kickboxing and MMA as well. So we brought him over to the Triton Fights cage. He's actually the boyfriend of Rebecca Brigman, who just won her Triton Fights debut. So he's a great guy, and Louis Razori is a game opponent too as well. And they're really going to go at it. They've been going back and forth on Instagram and Facebook, calling each other, white supremacists and Peruvian car washer. Oh, whatever he says. So they get a little... it's a very racially fired bout.
We love race over here on the MMA-Holes, the audience especially. Now the big question is this: the Triton Fights girls, the Tiger Life girls, I should say, the dancing in the middle of the cage, it was a hit. In fact, our viewers, hold that thought.
You can't stop this.
Oh, here he is.
Choo-choo, motherfucker.
It's Artem Lobov.
Yeah. Tell us about that dual penetration session you had with your fighter. He told us you're packing the 6. Any truth to those allegations, Dad?
Oh my God! What a donation over here. Do you know what this man is talking about right now?
I do not. What is he talking about?
Okay. All right. So we had Kareem Klein live on the MMA-Holes, one of your champions. Okay. Kareem Klein, he stated that you and him know each other for a long amount of time, right? I mean, is this a true statement? Okay. He also said that you guys may have put a girl on a rotisserie together. Is this true?
Did that happen? I mean, I don't remember it. A lot of drugs and alcohol, probably.
Kareem Klein was on the MMA-Holes. Hit us with the ones in the chat if you remember their middleweight champ. He was a good sport, I have to say.
Kareem's a fucking animal. I love that guy.
When is he looking to get back into the cage? Do you know?
He'll be back in April.
Okay, April. So let's get back to the Tiger Life ring girls, man. Are they going to be shaking their asses this time around?
I mean, it'll be entertaining, But I respect them, and they're beautiful, and they'll be there. They'll be there partying, taking shots. Buy your tickets. Stop being cheap. Stop looking on the stream and lathering your palms up with butter. Whatever you weirdos do, come to the show. Talk to them in person. It's okay. They don't bite.
Yeah, they were scared. If you're on the East Coast, check it out. Triton Fights 11 is going to be at the Space Westbury. We'll be in the building, so we'd be love to see you over there. Daniel
Leave
Murphy.
the margarine at home.
And no lube. Well, maybe we should get some Tiger Life lube. What do you think, Jess?
What?
No, all right.
If you tell Frank from Tiger Life that, I guarantee that comes out.
All right, we'll pitch the offer.
That man's just ready to make money. He don't care.
Yeah. All right, we got Chris Machi, the matchmaker of Triton Fights, here live again on the MMA Holes, and Jesse's pulling questions from the chat. So she's snickering throughout this interview. I can only imagine.
I know. I see her.
What do we got?
JBH, lay it on me. I know you got some crazy shit to say.
Steve Johnson. I got to give a huge shout out to Steve Johnson because. I mean, usually I wouldn't do this to Steve Johnson, but he's pretty funny. He's the funniest one in the chat right now.
Hold on, before Jesse goes.
Stop the Siberian Express. Choo-choo, motherfucker.
We got John Gotti. Oh my God.
Johnny.
You know the UFC is going to shit when a white coon Chris Mackey knows more about protecting the integrity of belts. All hail KKK MMA. Chris, did you enjoy being hard next to KKK MMA? Rumor has it he has 7 inches on you.
They love it. They love this whole story with you and Kareem Klein over here. And
listen. What I will say is, full disclosure, me and Kareem have definitely had some crazy ass experiences. Whether it be bar fights, cracking heads open, vacations, craziness.
This fucking community's out of their mind. All right, Jesse, let's see what we got over here from the chat.
Okay, Kenshiro Ryu says, "How do ladies keep their pants on around you?"
It's a great question.
How do ladies keep the... I don't know, man. I guess I have that effect on women. They keep their pants tight.
Van Shipman wants to know, where is Milkmaid?
Who the hell is that? Oh, my girlfriend? Are you referring to my girlfriend with her big boobs?
Indeed. We are referring to your girlfriend.
Where's the Milkmaid?
Her and her boobs are at home.
All right. McAction MMA wants to know, have you ever run a train on a dirty woman?
It's a great question.
No, I don't. I'm big with smells. I know I fight MMA and stuff, but I don't even roll with stinky people. Like, if you didn't wash your gi, I can't roll with you, bro.
All right. Steve Johnson says, forehead, do the police use you as a battering ram to open up sealed and locked bank vaults?
They call me C4 in the precinct.
Oh, my God.
That's some question.
Stelio2 says, what was the name of the Tiger Life girl dancing throughout the entire show with the jean shorts?
Oh, that's Summer Armati. She drank about, 27 Tiger Lives, and she was lit.
That's great.
Big lit. But I see that your community is tuning into our show, and I want to say we appreciate the support. We appreciate the heavy shit talking that you guys do, because we dish it back out, and we love you guys no matter what.
In the description, we have all the information. Triton Fights 11 is this Friday. We'll be in the building. Cage Side cannot wait. We always have a good time over there. And I just want to show something real quick over here. We're on your Instagram, and there's a picture of you. Oh, hold on.
You can't stop the Siberian Express. Choo-choo, motherfucker.
It's KKK MMA
the money
donating.
Coming in.
Here we go.
The fans need to know. Chris was passed out and I shoved my 12-inch BBC in his ass. But I didn't even
That did not happen.
His white coon ass was too loose.
So apparently,
I'm not even white, bro.
That was
and I have
Kareem
a
Klein.
tight butthole. Thanks.
Look at that. Kareem Klein donated. That was very nice of him. Very nice.
Mark Jackson would like to know, are they going to return you to Stonehenge?
All right.
You trying to say this is some ancient alien shit?
This is too much.
I have no more questions.
There you go. That's the chat. Thank you, chat. You've really done your job.
I have a question. JBH, since we talked about it, how much have you trained?
None. Absolutely none.
What's going on?
Get me into a gym.
Actually,
Get me
Chris,
into a
let's
gym.
go.
I will train for and fight for Triton Fights.
What does that even mean? Get you into the... Do I go over there, abduct you like all the
Absolutely.
cartels that my cousins come from,
100%.
and bring you to the gym?
Yes. 100%.
All right, so Chris, if you can, some of the audience heard this story, but from your eyes, after Triton Fights, there was an after party, and JBH might have had a little too much to drink, right? What happened after? What did you see happen that night?
I just remember distinctly sitting at the table with Ronda Rousey's, Chris Cyborg's, and Holly Holmes' morphed twin baby, and she was just veins popping out her neck, and she's like, I will kill these bitches. And I was like, what? I was like, JBH, are you all right? She's like, don't call me JBH. I was like, why is your voice so deep?
You saw the crazy side, right? I mean, not many people
have seen this. And then I was instantly scared for my boy Chris.
I got to drive home with this. Oh my God. That was after Triton Fights number 10. It was a fantastic time over there. Chris,
by the way, speaking of after parties, new after party location.
Okay. What we got?
We'll be at Icon, right across the street. Literally, you don't even have to get in your car. Brand new spot, lounge, more of a clubby feel, bigger, more bottles, more models, more boobs, more knockouts.
Oh, that's so much. Listen, Chris, I'm not going to say the name of the place, but I told JBH I don't think I'm going back. I think I'm done. I mean, nice people over there, but I don't know. They look like they crawled out of a sewer. Some of the clientele. I'm just going there. You know.
Well, that's why we're just on an upward incline.
There you go.
We're right across the street right now. Super classy venue.
All right.
It's gonna be beautiful.
Love it. Triton fights this weekend. The Space Westbury. We're gonna show a picture real quick over here, and then we get to last words. It's a picture of you on Instagram. You have it looks like you have some poofy hair going on, and you have a Uncle Sam thing shirt. Now, explain to us, what is this picture that we're looking at?
So that was a photo shoot that I did for this streetwear company called Kill Street. They were like a super politically, I guess, anti, government control kind of brand, and I posed for them.
There you go. Someone screenshot this, throws on the MMAHoles.com and caption it for us, for Chris Machi over here. I think that would be fantastic. All right, Chris, listen, we have to wind this thing down, but let's get back to this fight card over here. Who is on the card? What could we look forward to besides? We got the main event. That's fantastic. But I heard Al Pringle's back on the card. We love him. Tell us some more about this card.
We got same Al Pringle coming back from Philly. He's fighting Chris Garguglia out of Long Island MMA. I even have a fighter that he came all the way, moved to New York to fight for Triton Fights. Came all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, cutting weight, no place to stay, just making no excuses and just trying to figure it out to the fight. And it's stories like that make what I do worth it. You know what I mean? I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I put two men in a cage to fight each other, but I'm still changing lives out here. And stories like that is really what makes it worth it.
There you go. Now, before go ahead.
Also, I have Alex Brown. He's fighting David Rice. David Rice is a Renzo Gracie standout. It's been a while since he fought for us. Super high level wrestler. Alex, as you know, had an amazing knockout victory over Olsen and Nick Olsen out of Renzo Gracie. So it's definitely going to be some type of rivalry. I know that the Renzo guys stick to each other's back, so I know that, Rice is going to come out trying to prove a point. And I know Alex has been, working his butt off for this fight, so I'm definitely excited about this.
It's funny. I mean, this is an AMI event, but there are stars there. We've seen a lot of people out of Long Island gyms, Ally Quince's, excuse me. We've seen Aljamain Sterling, and I mean, there's countless names that are here at these events. So just to see some of these superstar UFC fighters, see these young bucks up on the rise, it's a fantastic place to be.
Thanks, man. That's what we're about, man. We're about being that D1 feel to UFC and Bellator. And as you saw in the last Bellator card in Nassau Coliseum, I don't want to pat myself on the back. I want to prove it with results. The last Bellator card in Nassau Coliseum, the prelim card, was a Triton Fights card. Seven of our champions fought on that card. Mm-hmm. Some of our champions fought each other on that card. So it's getting to the point where guys aren't even going to the regional pro scene, and they're getting calls from the big shows. We're producing ticket sellers. Okay, we're producing stars, premature stars, and I want to thank the MMA-Holes for always, being there for us, no matter what your format is. I know your format's a bunch of guys, talking shit and having fun, but that is MMA. You know what I mean? And we're not here playing badminton or tennis, so we appreciate you, we really do.
There we go, and thank you for those kind words over there. Because we've had a lot of horrible things happen on this show. Before we go, you were showing off these kicks over here. Let's see if one of these people step out of line. What will they experience from Chris Machi? I want to see the moves. Before that, we have a donation. Hold on. Donald Trump's donating. Hold on.
Chris, are you an Islanders fan? Only real men are Islander fans.
Oh, that's a question.
Do you ever have fights in FL? I know a lot of hookers that could attend in West Palm.
Okay, so here we go. He wants to know if you're an Islander fan.
I mean, I'm not a big hockey fan, but if I was, I would be an Islander fan.
No, you wouldn't. All right, so that's the wrong answer. The answer is no. And Florida fighters, you have some fighters coming out of Florida as well, or?
I don't have, not on this card. I mean, we have great relationships in Florida with you know, a lot of the top gyms in Florida, but not on this card. We didn't need it. A lot of the local guys just, you know, wanted to scrap.
There you go. All right, let's see the moves here. Now, someone steps out of line, right? If they show up at Triton Fights and they try to steal your girl or something like that, what can we expect from Chris Machi?
Is this my Joe Rogan moment?
Yeah, this is gonna go viral. So everyone, get ready.
All right.
Everyone, take your pants off. This is gonna get crazy right now. Chris Machi. Let's put some dramatic music on.
I'm trying to flip this camera.
All right, here we go. Chris has just flipped the camera. There's bags over there, sausage bags. All right, Chris is ready.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Everybody, get ready. Look out! Chris Machi killing the bag. Here he goes. The bag has stepped out of line. And the kicks are coming in. Look out! Jesse, check this out. Jesse, you're getting wet right now.
Absolutely.
Soaked. Beautiful. That was so great. That was so great. What a way to end that interview over there, Chris. That was fantastic. Great stuff over there. Couldn't have done it better myself.
So I just want to show your audience that I'm not some fat matchmaker with cross-eyed, rapist-looking weirdo on a couch. I'll get on the mats. I bleed.
There you go. Chris, thank you so much for coming back on. And, now's the time to give a shout out to the sponsors and last words.
Yeah, so shout out Meal Kitchen. Shout out to Tiger Life. As always, Frank Piccolo, you're going to see a large jump as far as accessibility of that product in the Northeast right now, going all the way down to Miami as well. I can't talk too much about it, but they've made some really good progress in that with that product. Shout out Icon, our new after party. It's going to be a great night. It always is, and I can't wait to pour Jack Daniels or Jameson down JBH's throat.
Hey. All right, Chris. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you Thursday at the weigh-ins, and good luck at the event.
Super
hold on. We got a super chat. Last thing. Here we go. Luke Thomas.
That Noah, did you try to poison her dad, Ali? Congrats.
Wait, what?
Noah, did you try to poison your dad, Ali? Congrats.
Oh, Noah. He's asking about if Noah tried to poison his dad, Ali. All right, Chris, thank you so much for coming on. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother.
All right, there he is. Chris Machi live on the MMA-Holes. What, Jesse, what do you think about that? I think that might have been his greatest appearance ever on this show.
It was definitely the most entertaining, especially by the chat. That shit was fucking funny. The things that, and listen, I would normally never shout out Steve Johnson, but I think he might have been the funniest one tonight.
Yeah, we never really seen Jesse like giggle that much during an interview. Funny.
Some of the shit he was saying. And it was all forehead jokes, but it was fucking hilarious. Like, I would never have thought about those jokes. Like, he asked, did they use his forehead to bulldoze in elementary school and scare all the kids? Like, it was some funny shit in there.
Shout out to this chat. I fucking love these people. That's why on every screen you see them. That's the thing over here. We have to show it's up. You know, we have to have this chat room everywhere. If you're listening on Podbean and iTunes, it doesn't do the justice of our YouTube shows. We have a link to that on Podbean and iTunes. But, I mean, this chat is funny as fook.
That's right. McAction MMA. I've turned a new leaf for Steve Johnson. He is now officially on my OK list because of those jokes.
Look at that. You've won Jesse funny. Over.
Your humor won me over.
All right, so we're going to get to the news here. Artem Lobov, we have a lot of stories on the MMAHoles.com. This is the MMA Holes Hour, but before we get to that, let's talk about something special. Oh, there it is. Some heavy music for a heavy sponsor. These people are BetDSI, and it's the only way to gamble. Jesse, tell us some more.
BetDSI. Just because you're not in Vegas doesn't mean you can't bet on MMA and UFC. BetDSI offers online wagering and has been paying winners for 20 years. Use the link in the description with promo code MMAHOLE. Again, that's the link in the description with promo code MMAHOLE and earn up to 100% bonus match. BetDSI is top rated on betting review sites. It has a very user-friendly interface and mobile site as well as the fastest payouts in the industry. BetDSI also offers betting options for everything including NFL, NCAA Football, NBA, NHL, UFC, and all other major sports, politics, reality TV, esports, virtually everything.
Everything.
Try live betting at BetDSI where you can bet on games throughout the entire matchup, every play, and every minute until the end. New members get 100% bonus match again using promo code MMAHOLE with the link in the description. That's more than double your money to start winning today. Once again, go to BetDSI with the link in the description using promo code MMAHOLE and get a limited time 100% bonus offer to make some extra cash on the sports you know and love.
That's right, BetDSI is the place to win money. Link in the description! Oh, yes! I'm coming! Yeah! It's time to get to the news.
I love you.
Jesse, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
According to Low Kick MMA, Artem Lobov will donate his entire purse to fight Zubaira Tukhugov. Last week, the MMA world was dealt some soul-crushing news when it was revealed the GOAT Artem Lobov had been released from the UFC. Now Lobov will apparently donate his entire fight purse to fight a rival still in the UFC. The Russian Hammer requested his release and was granted it, choosing to pursue fights in boxing, kickboxing, and other MMA organizations. Over the weekend, he apparently tried to rap his way onto the Bellator roster by appealing to rapper 50 Cent. The tweet said, quote, "Yo, 50 Cent, them Bellator fighters are crafty and nifty. I want to be tested against them a lot. Make me an offer worthy of the GOAT." Today, Monday, February 4th, Lobov appeared on ARIEL Helwani's MMA show to discuss just what was next for him. He doesn't have a clear direction of where he's heading just yet, but one fight is clearly sticking in his mind. That's his previously scheduled fight with Khabib Nurmagomedov's good friend and teammate Zubaira Tukhugov. The bout fell apart at last October's UFC Moncton when Tukhugov was involved in the infamous UFC 229 post-fight brawl. The Dagestani was dealt a one-year suspension by the NSAC for his involvement last week, but Lobov won't let that go. He told HELWANI that he was willing to donate his entire purse to charity in order to fight Tukhugov.
Artem Lobov was at an ARIEL show today, and it was probably one of the funniest things I've seen, right? Artem's the best, right? This guy, people think he's delusional, but I mean, he's just running with it, this whole GOAT thing. The chat room, let me know what the ones in this chat, if you saw that chat over there, it was hilarious. It was almost 7,000 people watching, and the chat room was just loading it up with GOATs. Artem says that he wants to have a seven-figure fight. That's what he wants, and he believes he can get it in any of these organizations. He wants it. He's ready to go. And hilarious. Absolutely hilarious on ARIEL. I was cracking up watching this chat room over here. I'm like, these people, no, MMA fans are they get it. Right. As much as there is complaining and crying about things, when everyone's on the same page, it's fucking funny. Like, overrunning the chat with the GOATs and just running with Artem babbling on ARIEL's show is fantastic. So Artem Lobov, what is next for him is the question. And chat room, let's see what you think.
Paul Face says 1, Vlad 2, Stalio 2 says 6 million, 2 Joint says I'm not impressed by your GOAT's performance. Aussie Juice says how much did Lord Artem get for selling the UFC? Make Action MMA says Artem versus Mayweather. Sean Hart, pay the man his worth. Vlad says 6 million, LOL. And H is dropping the GOATs in the chat. Thomas Matthews says released. Steve Johnson says Artem has a master's in finance, legit. And H is dropping more GOATs. Luke Thomas says this isn't a link. It's my number to call on the show now. David Flores Jr. says, I only used 80. That's it. Stalio 2 is laughing at Vlad. Joey Faggoter says, it's almost for nothing. Sean Hart says, Artem versus Khabib. 2 joints. Ariel's gonna get smashed by Cowboy. Michael and Sloan says, Luke Thomas, what number was that anyway?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back into the news. This is the MMA-Holes Hour, and this was a video by Khamora Usman. I like Khamora. Let's go to the Zoom over here, and let's get nice and tight. Tell us a little bit about this story, and we'll play the video.
According to BJPen.com, over the last few weeks, former one and Bellator welterweight champ Ben Askren has exchanged a number of barbs with the UFC 235 welterweight title challenger Khamora Usman, who he refers to as Marty. Late last week, Usman and Askren were in attendance at the UFC 235 press conference to promote their upcoming fights with Tyron Woodley and Robbie Lawler, respectively, and they had plenty to say to each other on stage. Apparently, they nearly got into it backstage too, and there is a video from Anatomy of a Fighter, who published the video footage of a backstage confrontation between Ben Askren and Khamora Usman. All
right, yeah, this is Anatomy of a Fighter, who does a very good job following these guys around. Anytime there's a fight week, it's kind of like an embedded series with a little bit of flavor to it. And he does a good job. He does. He gets what you need to get, and this is one of the videos that popped out from this man. So Anatomy of a Fighter. So here is behind the scenes, right before UFC 235, the press conference happens. These two kind of lock eyes, and this happens over here. Let's see.
27 or something?
All right, there's Kamaru Usman walking over. Now you can check on the MMAHoles.com to see the video for yourself. All right, so he's shaking hands over here, giving respect, all smiles. Right, all smiles over here. He looks around. Is Anthony Smith? He's hugging everyone on the way. He sees Dana White, and then boom. Here's what happens over here. He looks over.
Next to each other. Marty, do you know me? Yes.
Oh boy.
We used to hang out at the training center. Be quiet. Okay. You know me. I offered to fight you. I mean, there's not much more you said there. Hey, be quiet.
All right, so that's that over there. He goes, "Do you know me?" He's like, "Be quiet." Blah blah blah. This is what Ben Askren was talking about during the UFC 235 press conference, right? Mm-hmm. Now, not much to really see here, but Ben Askren standing there with his flip flops on, just looking all smug, and he's a master at what he does, right? Getting under people's skin. Like, he does it very well, and he backs it up, right? He backs it up with his performance in the cage. Why is it not fucking working? All right, my Zoom's not working anymore. I can't zoom out. Oh my god! But Usman is like, I had enough, and he goes over there. Now the question is, Askren is a good friend of Tyron Woodley, right? And you can tell he's kind of helping him out a little bit. Yeah. He's kind of helping out Tyron, his buddy Tyron, a little bit, or maybe setting up something down the road. Win or lose, Askren can face Usman, so that would be an interesting matchup. But what do you think about that exchange, Jess?
I think that Ben Askren might have over-dramatized it a little bit during the press conference. He said that he was threatened and all this shit. Like, that was clearly not a threat. He got in his face, and there was, like, a clear exchange of words, but there was no threat. I don't even know if it was worth really, splitting up. I don't think anything would have happened. I told you when I first saw it, I was like, it would have been more entertaining if it was a little bit more of an explosive exchange. But there's nothing explosive about that, and I think Askren was a little dramatic about it. But it is what it is. I mean, to each their own, whatever they think happened. Yeah,
so Usman is just, anytime he runs into these guys, he gets in their face and starts talking a little smack. I don't know what to take from it because I just want to see him fight Woodley. So that's all I really care about. Nothing really much happened in the hallway. I think Askren handled it right. Kind of looked at him and kind of laughed. I mean, what else can you do? Was he going to fight him in the hallway with his flip-flops on? So, I still have Usman. I'm still on the train. But, all right, Jess, what's going on?
I just saw him when you said he's going to fight him with his flip-flops on. I just had, like, this weird thought of Askren taking a flip-flop off and throwing it at Kamaru Usman.
Hey, it's possible. You never know.
I just imagine that.
What the fuck? Or if he slapped him with a flip-flop.
I just imagine that happening. Like,
it would be funny if he slowly leaned over and just peeled his flip-flop off and just fucking slapped him across the face with it. Yeah, that would have been funny. Or throwing it, sure. All right, let's see what the chat says about that whole situation.
Steve Johnson says, Ben Askren is a racist salesman. Michael Enslin says, Marty. McAction MMA says, can't wait to see Marty take an L. Thomas Matthew Usman should have snapped his flip-flop. Marky Brothers says 2 joints. Oh, Marky's in the chat. Brian Rager says they broke it up so quick, but it might have been a brawl. Sean Hart says thong slap. Flying dragon flop against the head, says Joey Faggot. Or McAction MMA says JBH on the marijuana tonight. Rick Flair says Askren versus Tony. Vlad's laughing at Steve Johnson. Staley 2 says Steve Johnson, he can't hide his hate of knitters. 2 joints says faggots wear flip-flops. Steve Johnson's laughing in the chat. Lionel Yu says Askren whooping as Latino woman style. Mark Jackson says, does Ben use deodorant?
He looks like he doesn't. I would go with no. I mean, wearing the flip-flops to a press conference and the stare down, it's kind of like he was dressed to like he's going, I don't know, like he looked like a bad car salesman with that weird button-down shirt and pants, and then the flip-flops. He looked like a car salesman, like
I thought it was like fitting.
Well, I mean, he looked like he was in the South and he was selling cars and he had flip-flops and the weird Jufro. It just I don't know. There's something like a sleazy. I don't know, but who cares, right? Let's move on to the next topic. Before we get to that topic, we got 20 likes.
20 likes.
We got 40 likes.
20 likes. 20 likes. I got fucking 20 likes.
20 likes. 20 likes. I've got fucking 20 likes. 20 likes. 20 likes.
I've got fucking 20 likes.
I hope the dislikes die of leprosy.
All right, thank you for the likes. The MMA-Holes Hour. And what is the next story, JBH?
According to MMAnews.com, Jose Aldo responds to Conor McGregor wanting to fight in Brazil. Jose Aldo has heard of Conor McGregor's desire to fight in Brazil loud and clear. McGregor was certainly paying attention to UFC on ESPN Plus 2, which took place in Fortaleza, Brazil. In the co-main event, Aldo turned into another sensational performance in his stellar professional mixed martial arts career. The former featherweight ruler stopped Renato Moicano in the second round. Aldo once again reminded fans why he is a future Hall of Famer.
Is Tyler a car salesman? I don't know. He got all bent out of shape about who he's to say anyone's sleazy. If you're a car salesman, I'm sorry, man.
Wait, someone said who? Wait,
I don't know.
what?
Like they're a car salesman, and then they're sleazy car salesman. I mean, Tyler, I apologize. Okay. All right, back to the story.
Conor McGregor wants in on Brazil. Jose Aldo responds, McGregor was so excited about UFC and ESPN Plus 2 that he took to Twitter to express his wish to fight in Brazil. Conor McGregor said on Twitter, quote, "What an amazing atmosphere at UFC Brazil tonight. I would love to compete there for all the passionate Brazilian fans at some stage of my career. I was so close to securing a bout in Rio last year. It was essentially a done deal. Maybe next time." And then he said, "Ui vai morrer. I'm still here."
Mm-hmm.
Aldo responded during UFC Fortaleza post-fight press conference saying, quote, "To me, it would be great. I don't know if this fight," he said, "would be in Rio. It didn't get to me, but if I had the opportunity at the division above, that way I don't have to suffer throughout the weight cut. I think it would be a great fight. I think in the first fight, we weren't able to show my work. He connected with a great punch, but if you have another opportunity, I think the story's going to be different."
You know, it's funny. I really didn't throw this around in my head after Aldo won. I'd love to see him hang out at 145 and somehow get some interim title and right off into the sunset. I said this over and over again before his last two wins. You know, before the whole Stevens thing, before this whole Moicano this weekend, and UFC Brazil this weekend was absolute fire. The whole card was fun. The main card, though, I mean, it was finish city. It was insane. The last 5 fights on the card were finishes. So, but Aldo is the one that really sticks out on this thing. And him versus Conor, 155-pound rematch. I mean, I don't think Conor's going back to 145, but 155, you can throw that into the mix. I mean, why not? Right? I mean, people are throwing the Holloway thing out there. If Conor wants to get in with any of these guys, Aldo could be another one, that you can throw into that mix. I don't think that would happen. I feel like rematches right now aren't on the table for Conor. I feel Cowboy is the top fight right now for him. But why not, right?
Yeah. I think, like Aldo said, it'd be cool for him to go to 155 because it wouldn't kill him in the weight cut. And I do believe that Conor got very lucky and he caught him with the perfect strike and knocked out Aldo. I think that if they were to do a rematch, I highly agree with what Aldo said. I think that it would give Aldo the opportunity to show what he's got in a fight against Conor, and I think they could make an entertaining fight. So
I would like to see a little bit more, but I'm sorry, go ahead and finish your thought.
No, I'm just down for it. That's all.
Yeah, I would like to see a little bit more from those two, but it's not. There are other fights that I'd rather see, and I don't think that's the fight that's going to be there. I would take the Max rematch any day over the Aldo one. I mean, as much as I'd like to see it, I just don't. I don't want to see Aldo get dragged through the mud again. You don't think it would give Aldo the opportunity to actually show off what he's got? But what if he gets smashed again?
What if he doesn't? I
mean, that's brutal. No, see, this I don't like that. He's come back, right? And I guess the storybook ending would be, yes, he comes back, he beats Conor, and he retires, and then he lives happily ever after. I see that. I mean, and some may argue with me about the Ortega thing, say that Ortega's going to smash him, but at least if Ortega smashes him, it's not for a second time. It's not humiliating. Could you imagine if Conor clips him again and he loses again with under a minute, or he loses in 12 seconds this time? Like, could you imagine? Like, Aldo, I mean, that's all anyone would talk about. When Conor beat Aldo in 13 seconds, everyone immediately just forgot anything Aldo did. And then he wins, and then all of a sudden Max Holloway happens, and then that's it. Everyone just forgot about Aldo. And there were so many people that were betting against Aldo. Now look at him. He's on a 2-fight win streak, looking good again, looking fantastic. I wouldn't want to see him go that route again. I wouldn't. That's just my opinion. Let's see what the chat says. I'm curious what y'all say in the chat. 20 likes.
20 likes, 20 likes. I've got fucking 20 likes. 20 likes, 20 likes.
I've got fucking 20 likes.
20 likes, 20 likes. I've got fucking 20 likes. I hope the dislikes die of leprosy.
All right, let's see what we got going on here.
Sean Leary says Aldo said he only has 3 more fights, then calling it quits. Steve John says always clip your nail trimmings and eat them so no one can steal your DNA secrets. Lionel Yu says, oh, you mean like Khabib smashing Conor again? Make Action MMA says, Aldo is on a roll right now. Why ruin it? I care about your health. 2 joints, says Stalio 2. Marky Wahoo in the chat says, who gets pregnant, Gillespie or Askren if they fought? If it's a 5-rounder, it's basically a porno. And Johnny Walker is a freak. Look out 205 and fuck Aldo.
Whoa.
Now later says, Brazil is winning in 2019. Amanda Goat Nunes Bolsonaro. 2 joints says, my health is tremendous. Marijuana is the best medicine.
There you go. All right, so let's go to the next story. Moving on, the MMA-Holes. The MMA-Holes Hour. That's right.
According to MMAnews.com, UFC lightweight Charles Oliveira targets a bout with Kevin Lee.
Everyone wants a piece of Kevin Lee. Everyone wants it.
Charles Oliveira is eyeing a big fight for his career following a successful outing at UFC Fortaleza. Oliveira went one-on-one with David Tamer. It was a duo Bronx who emerged victorious, turning up the heat in the striking before locking in a rear naked choke. Oliveira was embraced by the crowd in his home country of Brazil. Oliveira wants Lee next. Speaking to reporters backstage at UFC on ESPN Plus 2, Oliveira said he hopes to collide with Kevin Lee. He said, quote, I want to fight a top 5 in the division. I think out of those, only Kevin Lee is unbooked. If he wants to fight, it can be wherever he wants, and if it's in April, that's even better. I'm ready on both on the feet and on the ground. This fight will be a war. He's a guy who strikes a little, takes him down. It will be a war. If the UFC likes this fight, I'm ready. Oliveira is on a 4-fight winning streak, but he isn't in the top 15 UFC lightweight rankings. Lee sits at the 5th spot. The Motown Phenom is coming off of a unanimous decision loss to Ally Quinta. A loss against an unranked opponent would surely see him take a sizable slide down the 155-pound ladder.
Oliveira he's looking great. He's really hitting his stride right now, looking dominant. He's finishing people. Looked great this weekend. Him versus Kevin Lee, fascinating fight. I'm really interested in what is next for Kevin Lee. I feel like he's a ticking time bomb. He's about to completely implode.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Kevin Lee is done. He's got so much talent and he's young. He has all the tools to be a champion.
Right.
He's just a fucking head case. He's a complete head case. And you look at his social media, just you scratch your head, you're like, what are you doing?
I think he's reaching at this point in his career. I think he knows that he's on this downward spiral right now. And now he's at this point where he does ridiculous things because he's reaching. He needs that attention. He needs to stay in the headlines, and he needs to make sure that he somehow boosts himself to the top. And how else to do it than to call out like ridiculous fights?
Yeah.
It's the best way to do it.
Maybe. Before we get to the next story, I do want to mention Ali Abdelaziz was on Ariel today, and he's become must-see TV, especially when he's on Ariel's show. We're going to talk about that in a second, but we have a super chat coming in now and later. Yeah.
What you think if Johnny Walker KOs Jones in 1 round?
Oof.
Man, oh man.
It can happen.
Isn't it funny, though, when there's that exciting fighter, and thank you now and later very much for that donation, this guy, Johnny Walker, seems like he came out of nowhere. He's 6'5", long and lanky. The guy goes in there confidently just putting people to sleep. Mm-hmm. Everyone automatically, including myself,
right.
I'm guilty of this, just thinks, is he the John Jones killer? We're not even thinking about Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith is probably one of the biggest underdogs ever, going up and fighting and having success at light heavyweight. But against John Jones, I mean, I literally would be shocked. Like, I would smash my face through the wall if Anthony Smith finds a way to beat John Jones. Everyone thinks, what is the next thing? Who is the next guy to beat? Like when Holly Holm was coming up, people were calling her the Ronda killer, and she did it. She actually pulled it off. Is Johnny Walker that guy?
I think Johnny Walker has to be very careful. The way that he was standing in his last fight against the cage before it even started, like, I love the guy. I'm on the hype train. I'm guilty. I'm on the Johnny Walker hype train 100%. But I'm scared for him. I think, and this is like deja vu right now, because I genuinely feel that he's a great fighter. He knows how to put people out. But one of his biggest problems could be that he's overconfident. And I feel like one of these days he might get himself into a fight where his opponent is a very tough opponent for him. He gets a little too confident, and that steps in the way of his actual talent as a fighter, and then he fucks up.
Yeah, I think it's too premature to think it, but I mean, not to think it, to believe it.
Yeah.
But it's okay to think it. It is, because you see the electrifying. You get a little antsy. A 6'5" guy. You've seen John. The first time with Gustafsson have a little trouble with these tall, long, lanky strikers. All right, I hope he keeps that ball rolling. You know, I don't think Anthony Smith's going to be the guy. I hope Anthony Smith is, because Anthony Smith is a nice guy, right? He's a cool dude, but I don't see champion when I see Anthony
Johnny
Smith.
Walker is that guy. I really
Johnny
I
Walker's
hope I'm wrong.
He's a head case. He's all over the place. So I mean, he's goofy. He's doing all those weird flips. His arms are on the cage, just chilling, right? Like you said before the fight, he's just hanging out over there. So I mean, God knows what's going to happen with Johnny Walker. I'm looking forward to it. What is next for Johnny Walker, and does he have a chance to be that guy to beat Bones? Let us know in the chat.
It's too soon, but I think he can. Says now and later. Tyler Conrad says, don't know what you mean. Stalio2 smiling in the chat. Stealership says, Tyler Conrad. Mike Hunt says, this is the only time I've ever agreed with anything Jesse has said. LOL. Shocker. HK Leon says, he's another Darren Till. It's possible. Two Joints says, I hope Anthony smashes Jones's head off. Steve Johnson says, nice guys, always finish first. They make excellent slaves. Nope, says Post Reloaded. McAction MMA says, Mackenzie Dern's accent is thicker than Johnny Walker. Sean Hart says, a cumin.
A cumin.
Let's go to the next story over here. We have Save the Show, which we'll do at 5 minutes left in the show. You can save the show with a donation. The amount you donate is the amount of time we keep this party rolling. What else do we have here?
According to the Bleacher Report, Khabib Nurmagomedov's manager says the Conor McGregor rematch is to happen and says, quote, this shit is not over.
Oh, so all right, so this is Khabib's manager. Let's just talk about Ali before we get into the story real quick. Ali Abdelaziz on Ariel, must-see TV, fantastic stuff. We watched it before the stream, the replay, and the guy is nuts. It's pretty obvious the guy's out of his mind. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that this guy represents all of the top UFC fighters. It's insane. Like, he's the guy. And when you hear him talk, you're like, how is this guy responsible for getting these people these big fights? How is this even possible? And he says all this weird shit. And then today on Ariel's show, he said that someone tried to kill him twice or something like that. They tried to poison him.
Poisoned, yeah.
He was put in the hospital. Let me know in the chat if you've seen this. But apparently, Ali Abdelaziz was poisoned, or someone was trying to murder him or kill him. And they weren't successful, unfortunately. And he's still alive. He's sick, but he's still alive. And he was ranting and raving on Ariel's show. And now he's talking about these Moraes, Garbrandt, Cejudo now. 135 is getting weird. He's going to have his guys fighting his own guys now. So that's got to be a sticky situation. But it's got to make him feel great that all the people that he represents all are surrounded by gold. There's gold everywhere. How does he do it? What do you think? What is his magic? What is his deal?
I don't know. I personally feel that Ali Abdelaziz is always looking for a way to keep his own face in the headlines, his own face or his own name in the headlines, and his face in the articles. So I don't know how he does it, but he's gonna make damn sure he does, because he wants, one, the money, and two, he wants the publicity. He wants the fame. I think he cares a little bit about his fighters' fame, but I think he cares more about his own. So I can't answer how he does it, but I don't think he'll ever stop.
It's so funny, and every time McGregor's brought into the situation, he goes full-blown Tourette's, calling him a prostitute and destroying Conor, right? And I mean, rightfully so, because Conor went at him pretty damn hard. But he is a manager, and it's bizarre how he carries himself. He, no fucks given, strolls around all roided up, and just kicks the door down wherever he is. I don't know. The fighters that fight for him, Nick Newell, someone that we know, they all say that he's a good guy. Like, he's a real good guy. He's a stand-up guy. He gets them what they need. He's a good manager. I just can't wrap my head around the fact that this guy who can't put a sentence together without sounding completely cringe is representing all these fighters. It's beyond me. I don't know. Let's see what the chat says.
They should have hired real agents. Says Steve Johnson. He loves McGregor. Says now and later. Mike Hunt says second time I agree with Jesse. Shocker. Fact says Noah from the Memphis Grizzlies. Two Joints says travel agent Steve. Greg Odoblay Stalio2. I drew Vigo Stockhelm. Steve Johnson's laughing in the chat. Stalio2 says I'm sick of all these amateur agents. Steve Johnson's laughing in the chat. Stalio2's laughing in the chat. Now and later says he probably is a good manager. Skullcrackers 187 says he shows them the money. And he says he's a bottom feeder. Tyler Conrad, fuck the chat. Two Joints says Staley, it's training day. Tyler Conrad says LOL. Where's my bitch Ann H? Says Mark Wahoo. Conrad says Ann. Stalio2 says Greg Blaze on the message board. Now and later only Noah would poison him. Rick Flair says JBH equals -0 MMA knowledge or 0 MMA knowledge. Thank you. I appreciate that compliment, Ric Flair.
All right, next story over here. Khabib's manager. Let's get to it.
Oh, fuck. I just X'd out of it. I got you. Hold on. All right, here we go. Ready?
I'm ready.
Khabib's manager says that Conor McGregor rematch to happen. This shit is not over. Boom, boom, boom. According to the Bleacher Report, Ali Abdelaziz, the manager of UFC star Khabib Nurmagomedov, has said he thinks a rematch between his client and Conor McGregor will take place. The duo met at UFC 229 with Nurmagomedov winning the bout via submission in the 4th round. The fight was sandwiched by an ill-tempered build-up and unsavory scenes after the contest when a brawl broke out inside the octagon between both fighter camps. Speaking to TMZ after the Nevada State Athletic Commission dished out punishments for what occurred after the UFC 229 main event, Abdelaziz says he thinks the fighters will lock horns again. He said, quote, "This fight will happen in the street, in the parking garage, under a bridge. This shit is not over. It's not, especially when you keep running your mouth." When asked for his thoughts on McGregor, Abdelaziz didn't hold back and described the Irishman as a, quote, "fucking full-blown piece of shit scumbag." Earlier in the week, he posted more thoughts on the former UFC light and featherweight champ, saying, quote, "The biggest bully in this sport is this Irish hooker. He bullied all his opponents in the past, but on October 6th, he got humbled and bullied. Justice was served, and the bully got bullied. Simple as that." As ARIEL HELWANI and Brett Okamoto of ESPN relayed, both Nurmagomedov and McGregor were hit with suspensions on Tuesday as punishment for their part in the brawl that followed their previous fight. Nurmagomedov recently received a 9-month ban and was docked $500,000 from his $2 million purse. By contrast, McGregor's punishment was less severe with a $50,000 fine and a 6-month suspension. Following the rulings, the Irishman posted the following bulletins on his Twitter account, praising the punishments attributed to each, saying, quote, "I am thankful for the Nevada Athletic Commission's fair assessment and handling of the brawl incident. It was not my intention to land the final blow of the night on my opponent's blood relative. It's just how it played out. I look forward to competing again soon. Thank you all." He also posted again on Twitter with a picture of the brawl, saying, quote,
"Oh, we saw it. We read this already. The straight left hand, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah,
we spoke about this. So, yeah, I mean, the fact that Ali Abdelaziz says that, you know, this will happen again, like, he's like, oh, he smashed him and this and that, and then all of a sudden it's not over. Clearly he wants to make some money for Khabib. I mean, that's the case, and I don't think it is over. I feel that the UFC will find a way to try to navigate these two back together. So currently they're trying to brainstorm in a way to figure out, okay, what is the best solution? What's the best path to get Conor back to Khabib? That's probably what's happening right now.
Right.
The problem with that is there's no easy path to get to Khabib, right? There is no easy path. Everyone that they throw in front of him that is on the list is troublesome to Conor.
Right.
You know, I could see Cowboy being troublesome. Ally Quinta definitely, but I don't think he's really on that list. Poirier looking fantastic right now. Tony Ferguson, absolutely. Max Holloway, if there's a rematch there, that's very troublesome. So it's not. There's no real easy path. Now you can pick the best of the bunch, that the easiest of the bunch, and you got to think that they're probably going to lean towards Cowboy. They're probably going to lean in that direction and say, well, hopefully he beats Cowboy Cerrone, and you know we'll put him back on that path over there. I don't know. It is what it is. It's going to happen. I mean, I really do feel that fight's going to happen again. It's no matter what, the UFC wants the money.
Yeah.
The biggest payday ever. You know, in UFC history, they want to do it again. They want to double. They want triple, whatever the hell they made. So it is what it is. It's happening. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it.
All right. According to BJPenn.com, Dan Lambert discusses the options for Dustin Poirier's next fight. Ever since moving up to lightweight in 2015, Dustin Poirier has been unstoppable. He is 8-1 with 1 no contest, with the majority of his wins coming by way of stoppage and in the main event spots. However, while his resume looks impressive, Poirier has still yet to fight for the UFC lightweight title. Instead, he has had to keep on fighting top contenders until he finally said he'd only be accepting title fights from money fights henceforth. At UFC 230, it looked like he'd be getting his money fight as he was set to take on Nate Diaz. However, Poirier had to pull out of the fight due to a hip injury, ending the chances of him fighting Diaz, according to American Top Team owner Dan Lambert. He said, quote, "If you listen to the UFC, they say Diaz doesn't want to fight anymore. I was really excited about that fight. I thought that would be a very fan-friendly fight." Although Poirier had to pull out of the fight with an injury, he returned to the gym faster than anticipated and is now waiting for his next fight. However, this division is in no pause, so to speak, given champion Khabib Nurmagomedov is currently suspended and Tony Ferguson will most likely get the next shot at Nurmagomedov's title. If that turns out to be the case, Poirier will have a decision to make: wait for a title shot or take another fight in the interim. Although Poirier wants a title shot, one fight would interest him is a rematch against Conor McGregor. Their first fight, which went down at featherweight, did not go Poirier's way, but at lightweight, he has looked exponentially more dangerous. Lambert is all for this rematch if Poirier can't get a title shot.
Let me know in the chat what is next for Dustin Poirier. I just hope he gets paid. I really do. I hope he gets paid. I don't know if I could see a belt around his waist unless there's some weird 165 thing, which is not happening anytime soon, or there's an interim title, or that's the only chance he really has. I can't really see it, but he's looked good as of late. He has looked good. All right, so here's what we're going to do. There's 5 minutes on the clock, and now is time to save the show. If you donate, make sure you say save the show, and that amount that you donate will extend this mythical show even more. So if it's $5, we go on 5 more minutes. If it's $10, 10 more minutes. If it's $50, 50 more minutes. That's how that works. 4 minutes to get it on. And let's see what else we have in the news.
According to MMA Fighting, Junior Dos Santos hopes to earn a title shot before Daniel Cormier retires. Not going back to 205 pounds anytime soon for a third fight with John Jones, Cormier, who no longer holds 2 belts in the promotion, will likely defend his heavyweight strap in the first half of 2019, and Junior Dos Santos plans to cement his place as the #1 contender on March 9th. The Brazilian striker, a former champ in the UFC, is scheduled to headline UFC Wichita against 265-pound brawler Derek Lewis. Cigano currently is the highest-ranked heavyweight, riding a winning streak in the octagon, and hopes to go 3-0 in the 8-month span when he meets the Black Beast in Kansas. Derek Lewis just fought for the belt. He's #2 in the ranking. The UFC does, so it's a great fight, says Dos Santos. Dos Santos was on vacation with his family when he got a call from the UFC offering a 5-round main event versus Lewis, and agreed to it before asking for his coach's opinions. Victorious in his last 2 bouts, scoring a decision win over Blagoy Ivanov in July and a knockout against previously unbeaten Tai Tuivasa in December, Dos Santos sees a fight with Cormier as one of his goals right now. Cormier had his retirement planned for March 2019, but will push the deadline back a little bit. That gives Dos Santos some room to try to convince the promotion to give him another crack at the gold. Stipe Miocic and Brock Lesnar are 2 other strong candidates in this race right now. Dos Santos has shared the cage 3 times with another American Kickboxing Academy talent in the past, knocking out Cain Velasquez in seconds before losing a pair of one-sided bouts to the former champion. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Dos Santos, there was a time where he looked like the guy that was going to be up there for a while, right? And he is not, I don't think, I mean, he's looked good as of late, but I don't know if he's going to be, I mean, you know what, when you're talking about heavyweights, you never know, right? You never know. Some of these guys just somehow come out of the woodwork again and fool you. You know, it's that the power of the heavyweights, anyone can grab a belt. With DC up there, I don't see him being in the mix for that big money fight. You know, as long as DC is in the UFC, it's just going to be big money fights the rest of the way. So I don't know if Dos Santos would be on that list, but I hope he could scratch his way back up. That's an interesting one. Him versus Black Beast. That's an interesting fight.
I think if he has a very good chance against the Black Beast, I feel, and I think that could set him up for great fights in the future, but only time will tell.
And yeah, C-Level Kane is back. Just a matter of time. So Skullcracker. If you go over to the BetDSI over here, we were looking at the odds. And I don't know why it says baseball, but let's go to MMA. And we go over to the odds over here. And your boy, Ngannou, where is he at? Francis Ngannou is a plus 185. So he is the underdog against Cain Velasquez, who had a long hiatus. A lot of people were saying, hey, they think Francis is going to take care of Cain Velasquez. So if you want to get some money there, go for your boy Francis. I don't know. It's tough for me to bet against Cain. Yeah, I know it's been a long layoff, but it's tough for me to bet against Cain. And against a guy like Francis, I feel like Cain has all the tools to either put him to sleep or just lay on top of him and pound his face into the mat. So I got Cain Velasquez. But what do you think about that bet, Jesse? Ngannou versus Cain.
No, I think that the over-under is fair, but I'm always going to put my money on Ngannou because he's my boy.
Ooh, so you're saying place the bet.
Yeah.
There you go. Francis, a plus 185. This weekend is UFC Australia, so check that out. It is fight week, and we will be doing a live reaction to that. We'll also be doing some sort of giveaway for the actual community, the MMA-Holes. We'll do something for you guys and gals. Sean McKenzie, if you're watching, you get a shirt. Let us know by the end of the week. Give us your address and what size, and we will send you your shirt. You won it from being a patron, so thank you for that. 48 seconds left on the clock to save the show. You have 45 seconds left now. If you do save the show, say donation, and that goes to save it. All right, make sure you check us out on Patreon. That's right. It supports us. What the fuck? Why is he calling back?
Dick Machi.
What is he? Why is he? What is he now? He's going to be calling us. See, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a little bit of a problem. By the way, if you want to see Chris Machi's interview, check it out in the beginning of the show. We had Chris Machi on for a good 20 minutes, and he was wonderful over there. But that could be a problem. That's
a little bit.
That is how do you stop that?
I don't know.
That's ridiculous.
I think there's a setting that you can disable incoming calls.
Yeah, it's dumb. That's pretty dumb. We just started using Skype because what's it called? Our Google Hangouts was a disaster before. And the time is done. The dinner's ready. All right, we are done with this show. We'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday night for the TGIW. That's right. We'll be back on Wednesday night for that shit. Thank you for joining us on this lovely MMA-Holes hour. We'll also be at Triton Fights on Friday, so check that out. And Jesse, look them in their eyes, in their soul, and say the magic words.
Don't be an a-hole. Be an MMA-hole.